Now I'm proud to be joined by New York Mayor Eric Adams and Houston, Texas Mayor Sylvester Turner. And for the record, Mayor Turner, I'm in your city. I'm in Houston. I preached at Lily Grove Baptist Church this morning, one of the most able pastors in the country, Reverend Terry Anderson. So I'm in your city. But thank you both for joining me. On Friday, a news conference hosted by a delegation of Democratic lawmakers who were touring a New York City hotel that serves as a shelter for recently arrived migrants was disrupted by protesters upset over the influx in arrival of asylum-seeking migrants. Over the past year, more than 100,000 migrants have arrived in New York City to seek asylum, according to the New York Times. And their arrivals has coincided with a widespread housing crisis in the city. Mayor Adams, you've said yourself that the migrant issue will destroy New York City if we don't get our arms around it. How are you going to move forward in mitigating this crisis? And it's a crisis that many of us are concerned about that is not just at your doorstep. I know a lot of faith leaders we're talking about coming out this week to say there's a moral issue of dealing with the migrants, but it's also an issue of if you have to cut resources, it will hurt the people in the communities that can least afford a cut, and they should not force something on any mayor that he has to choose between who gets hurt, which means the federal government. How do you mitigate this, Mayor Adams?
And it was so important, and I'm glad you correctly phrased what was said. People attempted to distort the message that we were saying migrants would destroy the city, and that was not what was stated. We are stating this condition have a real destructive part to it that is going to have a rippling effect throughout our entire city. I've spent the night in a shelter with migrants and spoke with them. I've marched and visited with them and interacted with them. We have provided some of the best care throughout this entire country on migrants and asylum seekers. And we're a city of immigrants, and my support in the immigrant community is strong. But we cannot ignore the fact we spent $2 billion already. We're projected to spend $5 billion. That money is going to come from somewhere. We made great strides in supporting foster care children, putting money into housing, putting money into low-income New Yorkers, and really providing a way for those migrants that are here. If we don't receive help from the federal government and additional help from the state government, then this is going to come from somewhere, and it's going to hurt low-income New Yorkers. And I'm glad the Hispanic congressional delegation came through. They saw what we were doing. They walked out and stated that you guys have really done a dignified way of treating the migrants and asylum seekers. This is wrong for the migrants and asylum seekers to be going through this, and it's wrong for long-term New Yorkers that depend on this revenue. I have to go back in November and find $5 billion out of our budget. This is just not right to this city.
And that's the concern of many of the faith leaders. Many are gathered last week in New York, and many of the denominational leaders I've been talking to are coming out this week because there's the moral issue here. You cannot choose services for people that need it in the city over what has to happen to migrants if you're trying to be moral. You can't have selective morality. But in Texas, Governor Greg Abbott has been running a high-profile campaign, sending migrants to what he describes as Democratic-run cities, such as New York, by bus, claiming that they were overwhelming his state. Out of the more than 100,000 migrants New York has received in the last year, about 13,000 was sent on buses provided by the state of Texas. The Texas busing program has sent roughly 35,000 migrants to other states since April of 2020. These statistics show that the migrants offered free passage from Texas over the past year is just a fraction of those who regularly make their way to cities like New York. Mayor Turner, what's your take on Governor Abbott's, your governor's response to influx of migrants in your state? And it seems like black mayors, I'm saying this, not the two of you, are the ones that have bared the brunt of this kind of busing, and you've had to bear the brunt as the mayor here in Houston.
Well, let me just say and be very candid. The governor of Texas, Governor Abbott, is wrong. Okay, this is not the way to solve the problem. And Sharpton, you are right. Most of the cities have been cities where there have been Democratic mayors, and of that number, most of them have been cities where they have been African American mayors. And so if you're talking about New York, he's sending them there. If you're talking about Chicago, he's been sending them there. If you're talking about now L.A. with Karen Bass, he's sending them there. And then Mayor Hancock was the mayor of Denver, and he was sending them there as well. So the policy is fundamentally flawed. If you want to address the migrant problem, and we need to address it, then he needs to sit down, discuss it with governors, with mayors in a very respectful fashion. And I think what we will find, we all recognize that the problem needs to be fixed, and there needs to be comprehensive immigration reform. But the way he's choosing to do it is that he's using these people as pawns on a chess table to gain political favor at the people's expense. And that's just wrong.
Let me switch gears since I'm honored to have both of you. Shootings in New York City dropped by about 25% through the first half of this year compared to the same period last year, showing a downward trend after a spike in violent crime during the COVID pandemic. Mayor Adams, you've made reversing the trend of gun violence a central goal in your administration, as you promised when you were running. Are you encouraged by these numbers? Because many of us that question excessive police force also want to see gun violence down. We don't want to be shot by anybody. We don't want violence by anybody. Are you encouraged by these numbers?
Yes, and it's something that, you and I have both made clear throughout our entire careers. There's no condolence or consolation prize if you knock on the door and tell a mother your son was shot with someone in blue jeans and not in a blue police uniform. They still feel the pain. And this is part of the overall return of our city. Not only have we saw homicides decrease, gun violence decrease, and 5 out of the 7 major felonies decrease in the city, but you're also seeing a vibrant recovery. People are back on the subway system. We're capping at 3.6, 3.8 million riders. You're seeing 99% of the jobs have recovered. Tourism is back. We're projected 65 million tourists in the city. The vibrancy has returned. COVID has really gave us all a devastating blow, but smart fiscal management of the city saw bond raters give us a AA bond rating because how we're managing the fiscal crisis of its time. And so we are really pleased because the prerequisite to prosperity is public safety and justice, and we could have both. You don't have to trade them off.
Now, in Texas, firearm fatalities have reached the highest level in recent years since the 1990s, according to data from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. As gun laws in the state have become increasingly more relaxed, Mayor Turner, as Texas Republicans argue that loosening regulations on firearms is constitutional and necessary to protect the rights of Texas citizens, I heard at Lily Grove Church today, people are concerned about this. How do you address the gun violence epidemic as a Democratic leader of the state's largest city?
Well, when you're fighting against a state who has really promoted the use of guns and the proliferation of guns on our streets, all water flows downhill. Quite frankly, there are way too many more guns on our streets, and the state has made it easier for those guns to be there. Having said that, violent crime in the city of Houston, violent and nonviolent crime in the city of Houston is down. When I look at the numbers, and I look at them every single day, if you look at where we are today on homicides comparison to 2021, we have 70 fewer homicides than we did in 2021. If you look at 2022, it's about 60 fewer homicides. So violent crime is down. Even nonviolent crime is down. And in large part, it's because we've employed a very holistic strategy. Like Mayor Adams, we look at it from a more holistic point of view. Well, yes, we are providing more support to law enforcement. Yes, we're utilizing more technology. But we're also focusing on our reentry program, housing, and job opportunities. We're also focusing on more youth engagement. focusing on that population between 16 to 24. Instead of telling youth and others no, we're giving them something to say yes to. And community engagement, working with our community leaders, organizations, bringing them in, inviting them to the table, and then focusing on crisis intervention. All of those things are where we are placing a great deal of emphasis. And from a holistic point of view, in spite of what's happening at the state, what we are doing locally is proven to work.